From Studio 3C in Rockefeller Center, this is News 4 New York.
Good evening. Members of 3 generations of one family killed in a horrible accident on the Bronx River Parkway. Their grieving relatives want answers, and so do borough authorities, who say this isn't the first time they've seen problems on this busy highway. We have 2 reports. Lori Bardonaro has a reaction from the family that's in mourning, and the I-Team's Chris Glorioso takes a close look at the road's history. Let's begin with Lori, live in the Soundview section of the Bronx. Lori?
Good evening, Chuck. This is an unimaginable tragedy for this family, but it could have been even worse. The 12-year-old son of that driver tells me he was supposed to be in that car yesterday, but had overslept. A small memorial outside the home of Juan Gonzalez, marking a huge loss.
They're devastated.
Gonzalez's wife, Maria, was behind the wheel of this SUV when it careened across the Bronx River Parkway yesterday, flying over the guardrail and landing 60 feet below in a secluded area of the Bronx Zoo. 6 other family members were in the car, including Gonzalez's 10-year-old daughter, Jaslyn, her parents, Anna and Jacob, who were visiting from the Dominican Republic, as well as her sister, Maria Nunez, and her daughters, Mylene and Nayli.
Oh my God, that's the worst in my life. I don't know how I don't have a word to explain what I feel.
Gonzalez said he had just asked his daughter to go to the store for some milk. Now she is gone, along with his wife of 22 years. He says, I'm destroyed. I don't have a life. I lost everything.
We've been visited by a terrible tragedy here in the community, and we want to try to be there for everyone in the family and certainly for the children in our school as well.
Church counselors helped break the news to students at St. Lucy's, where Nayli Rosario attended 1st grade. Today, they made cards in her memory.
1st graders especially, they took it hard. They had some questions, why.
A question everyone here wants answered. The family was on its way to Sunday service at Holy Cross and were then planning to meet back here at the Gonzalez house. Police say she was speeding, but friends say that's hard to believe.
She's very careful, especially with her parents in the car, kids in the car. Everybody has seatbelts on.
But it wasn't enough to save this family from so much heartache.
Extreme sadness. Sadness, and it's like they left us too soon.
A wake will be held for all 7 family members this Thursday from 4 to 9 p.m. at the R.G. Ortiz Funeral Home on Westchester Avenue. For now, we are live in the Soundview section of the Bronx. Lori Bardonaro, News 4 New York.
All right, Lori, thank you. Yesterday's accident in the Bronx was an example of a traffic phenomenon known as vaulting. It happens when a vehicle flies over a barrier. The I-Team's Chris Glorioso has been looking into the safety measures intended to prevent vaulting and has turned up some startling information. Chris?
Well, vaulting is this phenomenon, and it happens usually when an out-of-control vehicle hits a curb that is positioned in front of a guardrail or a barrier. If the driver has picked up enough speed, the curb can launch the vehicle over the barrier. This appears to be what happened yesterday, and the bridge where it happened had none of the safety designs intended to prevent vaulting.
This animation shows how the vehicle bumped the median barrier, then veered right, hitting a curb and launching over a 4-foot railing, a classic case of vaulting. The fatal accident has put the outdated design of this Bronx bridge in the spotlight again. Sunday's crash is the 2nd fatal accident here in just over 5 years. According to state highway records, the Bronx River Parkway Bridge is functionally obsolete. That means it is not able to meet current standards for managing the volume of traffic.
It's a question of the fit of the type of travel we do now with what the roads were originally designed for, and just really keeping up with changes.
Professor Ray Zimmerman is the director of NYU's Institute for Civil Infrastructure. She says bridges with outdated designs are abundant across the nation. New York State's DOT estimates 1/4 of bridges here are functionally obsolete. One of the features that made the Bronx Bridge so dangerous is this curb which launched the SUV. It is intended to shield pedestrians, but the New York State Highway Design Manual says curbing is not to be placed along high-speed highways for the purpose of shielding pedestrians. The risk of vaulting is too high.
There's absolutely no shoulder there, so there's no room for no margin for error.
Eric Buckvar sued the city and state on behalf of 6 family members who died on the same stretch of road in 2006. He calls this the Bermuda Triangle of the Bronx River Parkway. Just last June, another SUV vaulted off the bridge and landed on 180th Street below. The driver and passenger survived.
With a barrier like that, what it does is not only does it not stop a vehicle, but it can even cause a vehicle to launch into the air and become airborne.
The Bronx River Parkway Bridge was designed and built in the 1940s before highway design standards were developed to protect against vaulting. The risk of vaulting is usually highest when the curb is tall and the speeds are high. And in this case, police say the SUV was going about 70 miles an hour, Chuck.
If 25% of the bridges in the state, 1 in 4 bridges, is functionally obsolete, what's being done to fix them?
Well, it comes down to money. They can't all be fixed, and there isn't enough money to go around. But this may really scare you. 12% of the bridges statewide are classified as structurally obsolete, and that means they may have deficiencies that could be compromised under stress, and that could be a real safety issue.
Okay, all right. Not much comfort in that.
No.